Hi everyone, it's Randy Pertler. I wanted to show you how to use the Real Deal Network Deal Analyzer. It's a very quick and easy to use tool that even if you want to go deeper to analyze a deal, this is a great way to start, just to get the basics to see whether or not this is even going to be close to a deal. And then you can do a deeper dive using, any tool that you like to use. But let me share my screen. I want to show you how to do that. So first thing I'm going to do is go to log into the Real Deal Network area. So here's the Real Deal Network. And if I go to Tool Suites, you can see something down here that is the analyzer. In fact, let me start over from the beginning so you can see it all the way from when I'm at the home screen. You just click on that. And then you've got the tool. So you go through here, you go to Tool Suite, go down here. Oops. Go down here to Project Toolbox, then I can find the deal analyzer. So it was Pool Suite, Project Toolbox, and then deal or market analysis and deal analysis right here, deal analyzer. All right, I'm going to click on that. We're going to start right here. It says new analysis, start a new analysis. I'm going to put an address in here. I pulled one up from the MLS. Let me just pull that from here. So here's one in Tinley Park. This is place. And my cam's on. Let's see, I believe it's going to ask for the zip code, and that was 60477. 60477. All right, when I clicked on next, the next thing is to pull to try to, if you already have established an ARV and you know that, you can plug that in. But this is great. Watch this. This is a comp and ARV, and this is showing me properties close to that. And this is a 3-2, and it's bringing up all 3-2 properties. So you can change that if you want, but this is just a really quick way to use it. I'm going to click on use as ARV. So it's got 385 as the ARV. I'm going to go down here, and it's, by the way, at the end, it's going to show you all the places where it's pulling this data from. So estimated rent, I'm going to go ahead and just use that. I'm going to do this as a flip. Uh, Later on, we can do it as a buy and hold, but I'm just going to take it through as a fix and flip. So I'm going to use this as rent, even though, like I say, it's kind of going to be relevant to what I'm doing. I'm going to close this off. You can see it put in the ARV there. Closing costs to buy. I'll put in five. I'll keep the $5,000 number. It may be a little high. If it's a wholesaler, you can put in the wholesaler fee there. I'm going to leave that as zero since it's on the MLS. Although, you know what? It's on the MLS. So what I could do is put in if a broker fee that I may have to pay. So let's say if it's 200,000, I'm going to pay. We'll make the math easy. 200,000. I'm going to pay 2.5%. So that'd be another $5,000, right? So I can put $5,000 in there as the wholesale assignment. I'm doing as a broker fee is what I'm going to include in there. What type of financing? This is kind of cool. It's got the current mortgage rate. So if you're not sure what the mortgage rates are currently, to judge what type of deal or what kind of financing you're going to have on your deal, you can see that as a guide. I'm going to use private money. I'm going to click on that. Down payment. I'm probably going to get 100%, but I'm going to put down, we'll put down 10% down. Interest rate is going to be higher than 7. I can tell you that. Let's do 12. Yeah, let's do 12 and points. Let's do 12 and 2. The term is, this is looking at conventional for a buy and hold because it's trying to do both at the same time. But I'm just going to put in here, actually, I'm going to put in 0 for the years, and months. I'm going to put in, I think it allowed me to do 6 months. Let's see. Oh, even less. Let's do 4 months for this project. Interest only, yes. And I also can put deferred. This is how I usually work with my private lender. No monthly payments, all interest accrues and is paid at the end of the sale. So I pay everything at the end. I'm clicking that on. This is a balloon payment if you have like interest only and then you do a balloon. So this one actually doesn't even need to be, these two would be in conjunction with each other. This is no payments until the end. Click on that. This is showing me an estimated holding cost monthly based on that percent. It's also going to give me the amount of contingency. So we want to over what I'm going to need. Now, if you don't know the rehab costs, check this out. This is very down and dirty. So you can do it more exact right now. It just defaulted to 30. But look, I'm going to click on this. And this is just some major categories. Does it need a roof? No. Does it need HVAC? And by the way, as I answer these questions, I've got a particular deal in mind that I'm doing this for. And let's say I put replace system. Look, it gives me the cost, $8,250. So maybe even if it's not a complete system repair, I might know how that compares. A tune-up is $550. So this is definitely closer to the work that I think needs to be done on that. Look at plumbing. There's fixtures only. So we're at 1,600. Partial repipe, it's at 66. A full repipe, we're at 9,900. So let's go here with partial. Electrical outlets is only 1,300. I know I'm going to need more than that. Even though this says panel upgrade, maybe it's not a panel upgrade, but I'm estimating about $5,000. So I'll just click on that. That's really easy. Same thing with windows. Am I going to replace all of them or just some of them? $6,000. The property I have in mind is about right. Flooring, carpet only, LVP. Again, you can just use these prices, even if it's not the exact description. You can use these prices as a guide of how much you think you're going to spend. Kitchen, 13,000. That's about right. Bathrooms, you got to refresh at 3,300. Mid-grade at 12. That's a little high from what I'm going to pay for that. So I'm going to go with the refresh amount. And then let's see, interior paint, definitely. Whole interior, exterior paint. That's about right. Foundation, no, there's no issues there. Landscaping, let's see, cleanup is 660, then more than that. Curb appeal, that sounds about right. And here I go. So this is what it came up to. Now I'm going to apply this to the budget instead. So you can see how this changed from 30,000 to $64,150. I haven't even played with this. But look, let's say, I think that's a little low. You can make the change there if you want. But let's keep that. That number seems pretty reasonable. Rehab time in months. So as I said with my loan, I'm thinking 4 months. Got the holding cost, continued, that's all set there. Rent. Now you could look at to see what rents are available. And right now, I'm not going to spend any time with rents because this is for a flip. But you can see how if you're doing this as a buy and hold, you put in this information for a buy and hold. Let's put this in. I don't know if it's going to pull from this or not, but I'm just going to pull a number in here for utilities for the 4 months that I have it. Let's say I'm going to calculate $300 a month for utilities. Let's just put that in there. All right, here's where it says what's your investment strategy? You got buy and hold, or you got fix and flip here. It's calling flip and sell. So I'm going to do that. Click on there. Selling costs. So this would be the exit of when I'm selling it, what kind of commission, real estate commission I'm going to pay. I'm a realtor myself, so I'm going to move that down a bit to 3%. Holding period in years. Obviously, we're not going to hold it for years. Let's put 0.5 in there as approximate. Now it's calculating the deal. And again, this is just very quick. I've been using spreadsheets forever, but I wanted to see what this was like, and I like using it. It's really good. There's some really neat features about this too that I'm going to show you that you don't, it's not as, a spreadsheet's not as impressive if you're going to present this to a potential investor. Look what gave me. So based on this, it's showing me a purchase price of 200 with the ARV and the cash that I've got in, the equity, and this equity, obviously, I'm flipping the property. This would be immediate equity. This is what I would get at the end as after flipping the property, 114,000. We've got, if you're going to hold on to it, it calculates your cash flow, your cash on cash return, your cap rate, your 1% rule, and that is a percent of your rent as opposed to a percent of the total cost. So you've got this monthly breakdown, but I'm really focusing on this as a fix and flip, which is great. You can see, look, this is the cash flow. This is based on what the cash flow would be at that rent amount. If I was getting this for rent, you can adjust that. That will adjust for you accordingly. But this is a pretty neat little tool that you can do very quickly. Let me just go. Here's what I wanted to show you. Here are the different resources that it's pulling from, which is great. And then just gives a little bit of breakdown about the financials, what all these different categories mean and how they're calculated. And then I can export it to a PDF. Check this out. There you go. Exported to a PDF. So you can do that and use that as part of your presentation. Or you can also get back to here. You can actually send this as a link. Once I save it, I can show you. You can send this as a link. Now, I did the identical deal earlier, so when I do it, you will see that, oh, I've got another one with the same address on there. I did it first for a trial. But one thing, let me go back because I can go to Deal Analyzer right here. I missed something on here. Let me see where it was at. So I missed the taxes on here, and I want to give you a little coaching point here. Let me see, where did I miss the taxes? Monthly holding. Maybe it was in the very first screen. Oh, right here. Annual property taxes. So this is in Cook County. So if I go to the Cook County website, I show you here, and I put in the address, this is what I come up with. What I want to coach you on here is pay very close attention to this exemption category. So at one time they had 3 exemptions, which was a homeowner's exemption, a senior's exemption, and a senior freeze, which you can get based on lower income of a senior if they qualify for it. So that could be as many as 3. In this case, we have 2. Now that varies what those exemptions mean, how much, but I won't get a homeowner's exemption, and I'm not going to get, as a result, I'm not going to get a senior's exemption either, or a senior freeze. I don't have that ability if I'm not living in the home. So we want to know what are the taxes most likely to be. I don't want to just double this. This is the first installment, which is still an estimate because taxes are paid in arrears here in Illinois. However, the year before was 5,500. So they're going to be, you think, well, about 6,000, but that's with possibly with exemptions, with 2 exemptions. So I can click on the tax bill information, and I already did that. I'll take you to this screen. Then I'll show you what the top of that screen looks like. And then I can click on the latest second installment. So in Illinois, we get our exemptions credited on our second installment. So when I click on the second installment here, it calls up the tax bill. So here's the tax bill for the second installment. And if I look down here, I've got the senior, I'm sorry, I've got the first one is the homeowner's exemption, 912,000. The senior exemption, $729. So adding those two together, I'm over 1,600. So this was the taxes before the exemption. Plus, I got to add another 1,600. Let's just to be on the safe side, that's what, 9,000 for taxes. If you just would have came here, you would have underestimated almost half of what perhaps the tax bill will actually be. So when I go back here, I'm actually going to put in 9,000. Now I'm going to analyze the deal here. So I wanted to show that about taxes. Now it's not as important about a flip because you're only paying those taxes maybe for 4 months. However, if you're a buy and hold person or you want to analyze this as a buy and hold, you really, really want to take that into consideration because of that. And then you can see it's got this overall score here, a deal score. And I'm really just looking at this as a flip, but it's also good to have always a secondary strategy just to see if it would be profitable as a buy and hold. So anyway, I wanted to show you that. And also, if it was a buy and hold, you'd want to put in that long-term financing. Right now, I'm showing as if it's paid off. The loan is paid off in full after 4 months, and that would not be the case as a buy and hold. More than likely, you're going to have a long-term mortgage on that. So you'd put that information in there. But I'm going to now go here and I'm going to save the deal. And we'll save this the same address, but I'm going to put two on there just so it doesn't get confused with what I already have. Let's see. I'll say TP number 2. Okay. Because they have another one saved with that same address. So now when I go to my deals, I go to a deal analysis here and I go to saved. Here it is right here, the one I just did. What I want to show you is look, create a link. So it's cool to do the download in the PDF, but I think it'll even be more impressive when you actually copy a link. Let me put that link in here. And you could send this link to somebody and they click on that link in an email and it will take them to this report. It's got a little advertisement there in case they want to join Real Deal Network. But look, they'll have that information. And the reason this is impressive, and I like it even over my spreadsheets that I've used for 20 plus years, is the presentation of it, how good it looks, how professional it looks. And analyzing these deals, it's equally as important not only to understand the numbers, but to be able to explain the numbers. And that's what you want to do. You want to be able to explain the numbers to somebody and impress a possible private money lender. This would be very impressive for a private money lender to see the work that you've done on this deal. So this is a great format to use and to send them. So I'm hoping that that is very valuable to you. I'll stop sharing my screen here. So that was just a quick down and dirty way to use it. And I've only played with it just for about maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes before I recorded this. So that's how easy it was. It was very intuitive. And I'm sure there's a lot of things that you can do that I didn't show you, but I did want to show you just kind of the core, how to do a property, how to analyze that very quickly. So enjoy and rewatch it again if you think that's helpful. Thanks and God bless. Bye bye.